What is the most disgusting secret you're hiding right now? I drew a massive penis on the ceiling in my art classroom, probably a meter long, and it's been there for years. I asked friends who have brothers and sisters there, and they say it's still there. It's been like 8 years now. When I was about 5 I used to prefer cat food to normal food. Now I can't stand the taste. I secretly broke a 2500 euros printer. That is rare and precious. I just fixed it just enough that the second person using it got blamed for this and almost expelled from school. As a student with a crappy waitering job paying me almost nothing, I used to eat the food my customers didn't want after I took their plates to the kitchen. When my sister and I were little, she would lick her cat because she thought she was helping to clean him. I used to lie, like a lot. I used to make up stories to tell people, just for the sake of it. I don't do it anymore, although this leads me to telling the same stories over and over. A majority of the time, the voice in my head / first thoughts are just really unnecessarily mean. Towards myself, but especially others. Even those I care about. Extremely nitpicky, selfish, rude, etc. Thoughts. I don't understand why. Sometimes it leaks out into the real world on its really bad days, and I'm just an butt. It makes me feel pretty bad about who I'm as a person sometimes. Because I really just want to be a lovely person and think the best about others. And I don't feel like a good one very often because of these thoughts. I guess maybe op meant nasty equals disgusting, but it feels disgusting to me some days. Edit. I truly appreciate every owned suggestions and information, thank you very much. That I hit some kid in the back of a trampoline park with a chain I grabbed off of a fence because he kept poking me. That I'm sat in my office at work, surrounded by a team of socially distanced staff, and I've just sharted. Update. Managed to crack a window and spin conference calls out long enough for everyone to go home. It's time go home and shower. Then burn this suit. Thanks for the concern. It's been a day. I'm in a lot of debt and it's potentially going to ruin my relationship. When I was 8, my 19-year-old cousin tried to make out with me. I remember him rubbing my leg and kissing me in the kitchen whilst my mum was in the living room. I didn't understand what was really happening at the time, but I knew I didn't like it. I kept nervous giggling and pushing him away. After a couple of minutes he looked disappointed and walked away. I don't remember if he ever tried anything else. He was killed in an accident 3 years later, and I chose never to tell anybody as I didn't want to add to my aunt's grief. Edit. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting such an overwhelming response. Truthfully, I never realized how much I needed to just get it off my chest. Thank you all so much for the love and support. It really means the world. Edit 2. My cousin was not named Fire, and he didn't die in a fire. I'm just a redhead D. Uncle confided in me that he stopped taking the medications that are keeping him alive because he can't handle the weight of his life. Currently trying to be there for him as much as I can, but haven't told anyone because I feel like it's his choice and I'd likely want the same in his situation. He's just worn out and feels like he's done his time and has already done what he can for the people around him. My one friend has no idea that I've known that he doesn't have kids for months. Also that I know he's been saying this and lying to everyone for attention. He tells a very convincing story. He goes into vague details, has a photo of the girl, says that she's been showing him fake paperwork as proof for the children. If what he says is true, would be literally extortion. Everything. Little does he know that I've been watching closely and also researching to find this woman. I know she isn't real and that he's lying and been lying this whole time for almost a year. Nothing he says makes sense and it just keeps escalating, which also doesn't make sense. I literally couldn't help myself but investigate. If everyone finds out that he's been lying this whole time, it will spread like wildfire. He doesn't have many friends and the friends he did have stopped talking to him because of his compulsive lying. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. I'll try to get to as many comments as possible. During lockdown my sister had a meltdown because she thought I had stolen a pair of nail clippers shaped like a foot that she owned. I told her, truthfully, that I also had a pair and that she had stolen mine. They actually were hers. I found mine an hour later. Rather than tell her, I gave back hers and said if they mean so much to you, you can have them. I then hid mine in her bag. When she went back home after lockdown, she got there and found the 2 nail clippers and now believes that she was wrong and that the nail clippers she had a meltdown over were actually mine. That last year, when I was suspended from work for 6 months, it was due a failed post-accident drug test. I wasn't laid off. My younger brother used to eat the dog food because he thought it would make him better friends with the dog. We began to leave a bowl out for him next to the dog bowl. I made up a person. When I was in high school, I wanted to sound more popular, so I made up a guy friend. He had an incredibly interesting backstory. This went on for years, well into college. I had the same friends, so I couldn't just end the charade. The funny thing is all of these people, my family, my best friend, even my husband believe that they met this man. I never introduced them to anyone, but over the years, they all have different memories of seeing him. Finally, I just sort of phased him out, saying that we grew apart and lost touch. And yet, people will randomly ask me for updates on him. I just give vague answers and watch my husband smirk from across the room. My husband is the only person who knows the truth. I'm so ashamed that I will never admit it. That lie was such a dumb thing that snowballed. As a small child I ate an old piece of gum from under a bus seat. I'd really like to exchange my mouth for a new one. Edit. Who gave me the award? I wanna say thanks. When I was younger, I would steal coins from my parents, and when I had enough, I would bring them to my dad and had them changed to paper bills, and he would be so proud of me for saving coins that he would buy me ice cream or sweet bread. That there is someone on my Facebook who is lying about her dad passing of cancer whilst her eldest daughter, 8 years old, is fighting a brain tumor. It is all lies. Her dad is alive and well. Her daughter is completely healthy. One of the pictures she used as proof is her daughter lying on a hospital bed. From what I know, she was just in for observation after a small fall. She has 2 Facebook profiles. One for all her family and friends of the family. And the second one, that I'm friends with, is for old school friends, general acquaintances and anyone she dates, etc. There's so much more lies, but those 2 ones are the ones I know 100,000% to be false. Edit. This went a bit mental. I tried to confront her. This was last year, and she denied it, going as far to provide screenshot messages between her and her sister. However, the reason I knew it was bullcrap was by speaking to her mum and passing on condolences. Yep. Didn't go down well. Her mum accused me of being mistaken until I showed her screenshots of the posts. She didn't reply. That's when I confronted the liar by message, countering her screenshots with the ones between myself and her mum. I was swiftly blocked. As far as I know, she's still lying. She's had several miscarriages, cervical cancer, dad dying, daughter fighting cancer, and many more. I'm completely blocked from all her socials, so I can't say for certain if she's still lying. I did tell her to get help. I admittedly took it very personally as my dad had passed away not long before she lied about her dad, so it hit a nerve. She never admitted to it. Never explained. Instant block. So flip you Natalie S for being an attention seeking knoband. Edit 2. Ironically, I have had several people send me directs accusing me of lying about this. Happy to provide proof to mods. Although this happened last year/year and a half ago, I will reach out to local professionals for advice to make sure her 2 kids are safe. Sadly, I didn't consider the possibility of her lies escalating and putting her kids in actual danger at the time. I'm ashamed that I didn't contact professionals sooner. When my sister was younger, probably around 2-4 age range, whenever she did something I asked her to do, I gave her a dog bone as a reward. She never listened when we were younger, but as soon as I started giving her dog bones she was a different person. It was great. This was almost 20 years ago now, and I would gotten away with it too if it weren't for my meddling mom asking why her breath smelled like dog food randomly. In primary school, elementary, me and my friends saw water dripping from the rooftop on the playground. Without thinking, we'd let it drop into our mouths and drink it, giggling and excited we'd found our own water source. A teacher caught us, and we had to be checked out, because it turned out the water was coming from a pipe or something that rats had ran through. We had a candy corn counting contest in like 4th or 5th grade, where you guess how many are in the big jar. When no one was looking I carefully took the tape off the top thinking I was going to count them all or something, and saw that they had written the total on the inside of the top, so, being a genius, I took out about 30 of them, ate the evidence, and put my guess in for the number -35 so it wouldn't be suspicious if I got it on the nose, not realizing they weren't going to recount them. The winner guessed it within 20 of the number on the bottom of the lid. So basically, I cheated, sabotaged and still lost, and I kept all that stupidity to myself for all these years. In biology class we were dissecting a pig's eyeball and my hand slipped, and the eyeball fell on the floor, and me being extremely lazy I kicked it under a cabinet, and it lay there for 2 years until someone finally found it. When I was 10, I used to dance nude in the balcony after a bath, just to piss off my mom. One morning I couldn't be bothered making my breakfast and a coffee, so I added instant coffee to my cereal, mixed it into the milk, and ate coffee cereal. One time, when I was like 9 or 10, I had to go to the bathroom really badly while my family and I were at a hotel pool. I didn't make it in time, so I sat on the pavement and just crap on the pavement. In my swimsuit. When no one was around I snuck to the bathroom and tried to clean it up the best I could. Never told anyone about that lol. Edit. Lol, I'm not talking solid poop, I'm talking about full liquid crap, literally. When I was in middle school I was being bullied physically and mentally, quite bad. My grades dropped and my mom got upset, so there was this period of fighting before we got into therapy together. The worst thing I've ever said to my mother was I wish I had been a miscarriage like my older brother. Mom and I are very close now, and I'm back in therapy for different issues, smiley face. A buddy of mine had a wife that used to be a stripper. She ended up leaving him for one of her patrons. Before she left him, she was impregnated by him, my buddy. She ended up marrying the guy she left him for, and the newish dad is basically raising his kid. I'm still friends with both of them on Facebook, since I was cool with both of them, and her son definitely looks like him. This was maybe 7-8 years ago. I just shut the flip up about the whole situation. One time I spit my gum into a donation box for kids with autism thinking it was a trash can. Like and subscribe for more videos.